Alright, we're going to try this out here. It may not work. There's going to be a lot of road noise and stuff, but we'll see. So today I wanted to swatch some of these, I don't know how you sell Maimeri Blu colors. I bought a couple of these sets just out of curiosity. I was really struck by the fact that they're only every color they have is a single pigment color. So I really liked that idea. So I just kind of wanted to see what they were all about and how they painted. So I got I think this is the Jeannie Dixon, let me look. Dixon, I was right. Jeannie Dixon color, and this is the Arctic palette. So I don't usually buy pre-curated palettes like this. I kind of just feel like it's sometimes, I don't know, I end up with colors I don't like, but I felt like maybe that was the best way to do this one. So we're just gonna swatch some of these. I got the Jeannie Dixon palette because I liked all the bright colors that were in it. You guys know me, I'm all for the bright colors. So got a fly that won't leave me alone. But it's a nice bright, I would call it like lemon yellowy. And I have written all the pigments out for you if you want to see them. So a very nice, like I said, I would call it lemon yellow. And I can't remember off the top of my head what PO43 is. Is it Purell Orange maybe? Purell or Peronone maybe? I can't remember. This is also just a really bright fun color. Yellow ochre is actually a color I don't have right now. I'm not the world's biggest fan of it, so I just haven't bought it, but it did come with this set. I know a lot of people really like yellow ochre. I'm just not one of those people. I don't use a lot of it. I've got a couple of other colors I use to replace it if I need it for something, just because I know a lot of people use yellow ochre in mixing, but we all know I don't like mixing, so here we are. Here we go. Sorry, had a little bit of an interruption there. Alright, so we're going to move on to the primary red magenta. So when I grabbed this, I actually thought this was supposed to be red. I didn't read close enough, but it is a very magenta color. It is a pretty color, but it was not quite what I expected, I guess. So and the next is this turquoise green, which I feel is a little misleading. To me, it's definitely a little more blue than green. But it is a nice color. Actually, I really like this color. You guys know me, I always love these kinds of colors. And we'll do this quinacridone violet reddish. To me, it is very violet as opposed to purple. And I also love quinacridone colors. I just do. So overall, I really like this set. I like the brightness of it. If you're into mixing, I can see how this would be a solid mixing set. So far I really like the saturation of the colors and the smoothness of them and stuff. So I might look into some more of these. We'll see. Alright, let's move on to this Arctic set. Just going to come up here a little bit. And this is the golden yellow. And it's actually a really pretty, definitely warm yellow color. which is nice. So I've had these sitting for a couple days because I haven't unpacked all of my art stuff at this point. But this morning I decided I wanted to do this because, yeah, I was feeling froggy and ready to paint something. So some swatching was in order. I don't know how you say this one. Maimeri Blu. This is a PB60, so this is basically like an endothrine blue. Which is actually one of my favorite blues. I like all the blues, I think, but there's a few of them that I really, really like. And that's one of them. So, pretty blue for sure. And then we'll get to this ultramarine deep. So, as you guys know, ultramarine's always PB29. And it's a nice, pretty, I guess I would call it like a primary blue. Bright, vivid blue. Yeah. And this turquoise cobalt. So a lot of times these kinds of colors, these turquoisey colors that are, oh, what's the word I want? Kind of creamy, I guess. They frequently have white in them. And none of these do. Like I said, all of these Maimeri Blu colors are all single pigment colors. Like I said, that's why they caught my attention. And I have seen some other artists use them and was just curious about them. And since I want all the colors, I am not above buying a set. So, my next splurge may be some gallows. We'll see. I really want some gallows. This is an indigo. We all know I like the indigo color too. So the difference with this, maybe versus a lot of the others that you see, is this is NB1, which is natural blue 1. So a lot of times indigo is not a natural color. It's a little rarer, if I remember correctly, and was hard to come by for a while. But this is a natural indigo color. So it is a little different than some of the others. And then lastly, we just have some raw umber. And this is just a nice brown. Nice, I don't know, I call this kind of a mid-brown color. So we're going to do this. I am planning a tree painting here soon. And that's a nice color for it. At least a nice base color to start with. So these are all the colors that I got in these two sets. So 12 colors total. And overall I like them. They're smooth. They're really good pigmentation. The color holds really well even after they're dry. I don't feel like they dull as much as some other colors. So like I said, I'm definitely interested in these. We're gonna try and paint something with them maybe later today if I get some more stuff unpacked, and we'll go from there. So hopefully you enjoyed this swatching. If you use these colors, let me know what you think of them. Like I said, so far I really like them, and have fun and just paint.